Hello, it's a gorgeous Saturday morning here in Salford, and on Gardener's World, which I watched after I came home from the pub last night, because that's just how I roll, Monty Don said the garden's as good now as it's going to get, and possibly that's true of this garden, I don't know. So it's July, let's have a look. First, check out the sunflower. Did I plant that? No. Did the birds plant it from the bird feeder? They did. Isn't that kind of cool? So there at the bottom of the garden, where we have our vegetable patch, where the mange 2 are not doing brilliantly this year. Last year's mange 2 were a little happier, but you know, we've still got some beans coming along there, as you can see. These are the broad beans. They might be over now, I'm not quite sure. There are some new flowers coming up here, but I don't know if they're actually going to beanify, but whatever. I love broad beans, they're totally worth planting. And here we have Mary's brilliant runner bean edifice. Look at all those great red flowers. And beans. These are a funny, different kind of bean that come out speckled. Speckled. Ooh, with extra insects. Anyone know anything about these insects? I do not. Okay, so moving on, we have a snout bush. And we have Mary's mother's hydrangea, which is just looking brilliant, and it's kind of between blue and pink. So I don't know if it's going to stay blue forever, but at the moment it's really pretty. Neighbour's crocosmia just come through. This box, check those plants out. What are they? Well, they are the self-seeded tomatoes from the compost, which is fantastic. I don't know if they'll actually grow in the window box that well, but look, you know, they've got flowers there. So it is possible that we will actually get tomatoes spontaneously. Who knows what kind of tomatoes they are, so that's really quite exciting. Down here we have what's called a patio rose, which I am dangerously not growing on the patio. We have our summer clematis. The purple clematis, which I noticed from my records was flowering much later last year, has now stopped flowering. But we bought a summer one as well. It's really pretty. These are kind of mad. This is the great thing about the second year in a garden, you never know what's going to come up. These are chrysanthemums that I bought in little pots last year, and the flowers just turned to mush in the first rain, and I thought that's the end of those chrysanthemums, and they died back, and I thought, well, oh well. And look, there are these massive bushes this year, so it's a bit mad. I don't know if the flowers will last longer. The wallflower is still going. Last year's gladioli, and I did what you're supposed to do. I lifted it, I kept it in a paper bag all over winter, I replanted it in the spring, and there it is back again. Not quite sure it's the colour I would have chosen, but it's really tall and brilliant. This bed is a bit of a mixture between the self-seedlings of last year's butterfly and bee mix, such as these brilliant flowers. I love them. They're just white and towering and gorgeous, and then they have a kind of a pink relative. And the mixed perennials, which was this year's experiment. Don't know what these are. Not quite sure if I like them, but they're kind of classic-y, cottagey, gardeny, aren't they? Obviously a relative of nettles. If anyone knows what they are, let me know. The lobelia self-seeded from last year as well. Didn't even know lobelia did that. And these are also perennials. Again, I don't know what they are. Mystery perennials. Anyone tell me what these blue yolks are? I'd be very happy. You will also note that there are poppies pretty much over at this point, which came from Mary's mother's garden, so she's very happy about that. And the difference, of course, from last year is we have the two shrubs in now. The kind of meles, which is looking kind of messy and pointless, and the photina, which isn't growing as fast as I thought it would, but never mind. Now, these are fuchsias. Aren't they fantastic? They're fancy fuchsias, not like the ones you see in Kerry on the sides of the roads. This one is called Dollar Princess. That one is called Delta Sarah, which is my favourite, the white and purple one. And that one's called Alice Hoffman, which is kind of a blousy, no good kind of a fuchsia, but pretty anyway. The Acer has had a new flurry of leaves. Does that normally happen in the middle of summer? The other one that I planted over here, you see, has also got new leaves, and it suddenly looks much less sad down there than it did with the bright new leaves showing against all the rest of the greenery, so I'm happy that it's there now. Snapdragons, again from the mystery perennial bunch, pretty much over, but some of them still there. Self-seeded hollyhocks, how brilliant are they? I love them. They're tall, they're pink, and there's a massive stand of them. And this border is actually, kind of without me meaning it to, a symphony in purple and yellow, which is nice. Regard my new and clever habit of popping out pansies in pots into holes in the flower bed. I'm very pleased with that. Yeah, the wallflower seems to be going for a second run. Even though they're spring flowers, it's a bit odd, but I'm not going to object to that. So you see this one here, for example, a wallflower suddenly back again. And those are some osteosperma, which are again annuals, and another pot of poppies, pansies that I grew on the windowsill, and the dragon's tongue back again. I think it's pretty and it hasn't taken over the border yet. This is a bleeding heart and a dicentra, and it hasn't flowered this year, and I think it's a spring flower, and it looked kind of dead all spring, and I thought, oh well, that didn't come up, and now here it is growing away with its happy leaves, so maybe next year, who knows, it'll do its thing. So I was looking at my photos from last year this time, and I think, although it's obviously the same garden, it looks like there's more structure going on here between the little table of flowers over there, point, as you can see, and yeah, just the beds are fuller, and that's where I like to read on sunny mornings like this. But this morning, here I am, sitting up at the table, and here you can see my fetishes of a Saturday morning, viz my knitting, my guardian and my radio. All is definitely lovely in the garden. Have a great Saturday.